is my first live stream, so I'm trying to get a setup that works. Sorry about that. I hope you're all doing well today. Let me know if you can hear me. Obviously, if I had known this thing, I would set it up first, but I'm new to this, so I'm learning as we go. We'll see how it all works out in the end. So today I'm going to be doing some quilling and answering some questions that I asked on my social platforms for. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I will look at them and answer them as we go. I have to have my key here. Got my strips for quilling. If I'm looking down, I'm either reading the questions or working on some quilling, so that would be why. All right, let's start answering questions, shall we? So the first question I got was, are the tools that are sold on the internet worth it? I would say yes. It will depend on where you buy them, but the ones I've bought so far, they've all been worth it. I've gotten this one from Quilt Creations, and it's my favorite tool. It's a little less hard than the other ones I've tried, so makes it easier on my hands when I'm doing this for a long time. I've bought a lot of tools from Amazon for my classes, and they've all been good. I think I got one of those kits with all the quilling tools imaginable way back in the day, and when it comes to those, I would say it depends. It depends on what kind of quilling you like to do, because if you don't like doing open shapes, then you'll never use the quilling buddies, so not worth buying them. If you don't like husking, you'll never use the husking board, so not worth buying that. If you follow me, you'll see in my Facebook groups and in my Patreon, there's a list of quilling materials, quilling supplies that I find are essential, others that I find you might like to use, and others that are completely optional. You don't ever need to use those, or something like that. So I've made those groupings before, and you can go there and find out what I consider in each one of those. So the answer to that question is, most tools you find online are worth it, but only if you use them, like anything. Next question. What glue should you use? I get this one many times. Personally, I use Elmer's glue all for all my quilling purposes. It is fast drying. It's white, but it dries clear, which is a great thing when you're quilling. And for me, it just works great. Some people like Aleene's tacky glue better. I've tried it, I don't like it as much. I've also tried other kinds of Elmer's like the school glue and all those, and I don't like them as much because they're very watery and ruin the paper before I can even work with it. For gluing quilling to, say, glass or wood or metal, gluing beads to the quilling or rhinestones or any other sort of material like that, I would say use E6000. That's what I use for jewelry making and all that sort of stuff. And the other thing that was in that question is that they see some people mixing glue with water to cover your projects. Personally, I don't like doing that because the glue is not meant to be used in that way. Just like using nail polish to protect your products. Nail polish is, the goal of nail polish is not to protect paper, so over time it will probably degrade and have effects you don't anticipate. For me, the one thing that I've found and seen work for very long periods of time, keeping its properties, is Mod Podge. So I just buy a little pot of Mod Podge and I dabble it all over my work, specifically work that is sort of like this, that it's going to be standing alone. If it's a piece of work that's going to be on a background, like a wall hanging or something, I don't usually Mod Podge those, but I do spray them with a clear coat. So I'll get some Krylon, which has the UV protecting on it, and I'll spray my work with it so it lasts longer. Even if it's in the sun or near a window or something like that, that will help protect the work. It has the other benefit, if you buy the matte kind, that it will hide all the glue stains that you might have across your work, because usually when the glue dries, it dries shiny, and the matte will just hide all of that. Let's see, what else? Next question is, when working with long strips, how do you keep the glue from getting everywhere? You have to be careful. There are a few ways you can avoid that, and one of them is to not put glue on the whole strip, just put it down in little sections. If you look for Paper Zen on YouTube, she has wonderful tutorials about how to glue your strips down without making a mess. I would highly recommend you going there and looking at her tutorials on that. But mostly, just be careful. Just do it slowly and don't do it don't try to do it all at once. And yeah, practice also helps. Let's see here. How do I keep my coils consistent? Again, practice. People don't like this answer because it's not a quick fix, but it's the truth. the more you make a certain shape, the more you get a feel for how things will come out. The other thing is using the circle rulers that have the cutout circles in them. So if you use those, whenever you let a coil expand, it will always expand to the same size. Personally, my trick is I have tested my paper and I've made coils in different sizes, and I made them so that I like the distribution I get with that size of coil. So for example, I have this template here, and when I'm making a certain size coil, I use a template like this to have the coil expand against it, so they're always the same size. That's my trick for it. I don't particularly like the circle rulers. They're hard to put the paper in and then take it out and glue it without it expanding and shrinking. This just works for me. So it takes a little time for you to make templates for all the sizes you need, but once you have them forever, so you don't need to make them anymore. Let's see here, more questions. How to avoid getting glue spots on your work? Many people will tell you this over and over again. Less is more when it comes to glue in quilling. You don't need a lot. A little bit of glue will work for what you're trying to do. And then, again, be careful. Don't try to make a long strip all at once. Do it in sections. Be mindful where you're putting your hands and your glue and your strips. Then immediately after you glue something, you can go in with a Q-tip or a damp brush and just clean off any spots of glue that are on the paper. And if all of that fails, you can use the trick that I mentioned before, which is just spraying it with a matte clear coat, and it will tone down all the shiny bits of glue that might appear in your work. I have the next question is a long one, so I'll keep that one for last. Let's see. How do you decide what colors to use? Well, sometimes it just looks right to me. If you notice, my work has a lot of blue. I just like blue, so combining blue comes easy. Then I have a trick, which is to look for color palettes on Pinterest, and you can see all those beautiful color combinations that they have and get inspired there. It's really, and it's, you don't have to match the colors exactly, because that's something people have mentioned when I said this to them before, is I don't have those colors. How do I do this? You don't have to match the colors. You just have to match the shades. So if you have a purple and the green and the orange in one of those palettes, just match something that's similar and see if you like it. If not, switch another purple in and see if you like that. So, and as like everything else, as you go, you get better grip of what colors to use together and what colors not to use together. The other way you can do this is just look at the color wheel, and usually colors that are opposite to each other on the wheel go really well together. So just pick a few colors like that and you should be set. Another way you can do it is just look at nature and see what is appealing to you. Do you like the ocean, the colors of the ocean? Put those colors together. Do you like the colors in your garden? See what colors those are and put them together. there are no rules when it comes to creativity with colors, so whatever makes you happy will be the best bet in that. Let's see here. Next one is, how do you know how much paper to use? This is probably the most asked question in all of quilling. And there is a simple answer, and the simple answer is you don't. You don't know. Even the very practiced people don't really know how much paper to use for a certain coil size or a certain space in their design. However, they have practiced enough and they have made enough coils of certain sizes that they can guesstimate very well. And usually they're so close, it's like magic to other people. But yes, mostly you just have to practice and really know the sizes that you can get with your paper, whatever paper you use. And that's basically it. Quilling is a lot of doing the same thing over and over, and if you're not patient, you're not gonna get very far. For example, I have always done quilling with cardstock strips that I cut myself. So they are certain width and length, and that's what I'm used to. I can grab a store-bought strip and try to figure that out, but I'm not as comfortable as I am with these guys, because I've done, like I said before, I've done coils of every size and every kind of combination there could be, so I know how much I need to make a coil a certain size that it looks good. It's not too empty or too full. And you know, it took me a while. I've been doing this for 9 years now, and here we are. I was just telling my husband the other day, it's kind of freaky because I can have a pile of strips and I grab a bunch and it's exactly the amount of strips that I need for what I'm making. And that just comes with practice, and now you develop your tactile muscles to kind of know this is what I need, that is not what I need. So if you're feeling discouraged about that, don't, because even now I'll sometimes be like, okay, this will fit here, and then I go and it doesn't. What do I do then? I just put it to the side and make another one that is slightly smaller or slightly bigger. And the thing about quilling is, even if you make something and you don't use it in what you're doing right now, you can save it and use it in something else. It's very forgiving art, so it's not a waste. I think I've gone through all my questions, so if anyone has any more questions, please write them in the chat. Like I said, I usually cut my own strips, but if you need to get some cardstock strips, I can leave a link in the description of where you can get them. For me, these are the easiest to work with, especially if you're a beginner, because they have a certain structure to them that makes most quilling easier. The only exception to that would be some certain kinds of comb quilling and 3D quilling and husking. For that kind of quilling, the regular strips, the thinner, lighter weight strips is better. For everything else, I believe the cardstock strips are better. Especially if you're doing on edge quilling. And that's what most people drop into quilling, thinking quilling is the on edge. And that's actually a very modern way of quilling that just appeared in the scene not that many years ago. It's also, in my personal opinion, the hardest to start with. So if you want to start quilling, practice the basic shapes, the traditional quilling first. And then once you have a better tuning of your curling skills and handling of the paper strips, you will do much better. Handling of the glue, you will do much better with the on-edge quilling. All right. So I don't see any more questions. So if no one else has any questions, I will end the streaming session a little earlier. It was nice to be able to answer you guys. If you have any other afterthoughts, please leave them in the comments. I'll try to post this soonish. But again, this is my first time live streaming, so I don't know how this will go after I stop live streaming, so I'll have to learn that too. Thank you for your patience, and I hope to see you in the next one.